Hello guys, me Faiz, this is Zulzafri and this is Iqmal. Today we're going to tell you about skateboard and
how to manufacture a skateboard.
Technology maybe?
Alright.
okay, first of all we're going to talk about the history of the skateboard. Do you know about the history of skateboard?
Early in 1950,
Yeah.
maybe, or the city, most of the cities playing board that's called sidewalk surfers. That time it's called sidewalk surfers, not called skateboard.
Oh, during that time.
They play at the playgrounds, but the safety, the parents care about their children's safety. So after 10 years later, in 1960, the technology was improved and the bearing, the safety feature, the safety features,
Yes.
tires, and wood polyurethane wood replaced. So after the technology, it's called skateboard. And 1965, our first competition of the skateboard has been represented, and all the world know what is skateboard is.
So this is actually we're going to tell you. We're going to research about the skateboard. We're going to choose 5 parts in the skateboard and we're going to talk and tell you about each part, how the manufacture process that involved in each part. So after this we're going to go through the process. We're going to describe what part we're going to choose and what is the manufacture process that involved in each of the parts.
Some parts, so we are going to tell about 5 parts of the skateboard. So Faiz, can you tell us what are the 5 part description?
So the first thing we're going to describe is the deck. So the deck is actually the thing that you stand on the skateboard, the wood one. So the deck is actually made up from wood, okay, wood and just a few layers. So after that we're going to go through about the truck. The truck actually the thing that attached from the deck and the wheel.
Not
so
the truck.
no,
Car truck.
not the truck car, but actually the same concept because the truck is attached to the wood and the wheel. So without the truck, there is no wheel and there is no deck. So after that, we're going to tell you about the grip tape. So the function of the grip tape is to make the rider on the skateboard is not slipping away because we're going to stand on something that's going to move fast. So we need something to grip our feet on the skateboard. So we need the grip tape. Grip tape is the first layer of the wood. We're going to place this grip tape on the first layer of the wood on the deck. So after that, we're going to tell you about the wheel. The wheel, as we know, wheel is a function to move, right? But the function of the wheel is more important. Is the bigger the size, the smaller the size. So if the deck is more bigger, then the wheel should be more bigger. If the deck is bigger but the wheel is smaller, then the wheel is actually easy to break apart. So after that, I'm going to tell about bearing. How about you? What do you know about bearing?
When we talk about a bearing, so bearing is we can conclude or we can assume that the bearing is acting as a secondary wheel that is the rotation of wheel to help the lubricating or the rotating of wheel easier, so that the friction between the wheel in a wall of the wheel and the road axle will be easier. So will make the skateboard fast.
So that's essentially the bearing about. So after that, we're going to tell you about the manufacturing process of the 5 parts that we have discussed.
How much part? Deck,
Truck, grip
grip
tape,
tape,
wheel,
wheel,
bearing. Okay.
So are you ready?
What do you mean? After Mr. Joes tell about the parts, the 5 parts: decks, trucks, bearing, wheel, and grip tape.
Yes.
So I will tell how the parts is. Each part is manufacturing. What's the technology that's involved? So the first part is deck. originally a single wood, but in order to get improvement, we with a 7 layer that make a single deck. The layer is a face, a core layer, third crossband, fourth core layer again, 5 crossband again, 6 core layer, and the last is face. Same with the 1 and 7 is face. Then the layer is glue, each layer glue to each other, and we give a pressure to make it stick together.
We need to compress.
By using hydraulic press maybe. So the press, the decks become stick together. So when we play the skateboard, it will not separate as a 7 layer again. So it's make that. After that, we talk about grip tape. As Mr. Joy said, before this, grip tape is we use to less a friction between our legs, a player skateboard leg, and the deck. So it will not slip away. So grip tape is needed and important by using a paper with adhesive on side, similar to find sandpaper to other. If you all know, the sandpaper have high friction, so we not easy to move. Our leg will stick to the deck. The layer that have
on the deck.
yeah,
So
on the deck.
the layer on the deck is we can normally see as the sandpaper
On the deck.
structure. Same as that.
For the glamour or popular skateboards, that is very useful too. They're making their skills or some move that's fancy and make everyone happy maybe.
So
Okay.
after this,
After bearing, I don't know about bearing. Can you tell about bearing? I'm not sure.
So the bearings. Okay, the bearings are normally made of steel or through the silicon nitride. It is a high-tech ceramic, and many of the skateboard bearings are normally classified into some groups or according to the A, B, E, and C scale to measure the tolerance. And then the bearing performance is usually determined on how well maintained and the bearing are. How the bearing will last longer through the year, or the bearing will start to damage in few months. So the unmaintained bearing will be degrade easily and soon will be replaced.
So you tell that the grade A, B, E, C to just for tolerate.
The tolerance, so this you can call it as a size to fit at the wheel.
Like a screw.
Yes. To fit at the wheels of the skateboard.
Ni trucks.
So the trucks.
Okay.
Mr. Joe, can you explain trucks?
tell you about truck. Okay, truck is actually the one of the most important thing that in the skateboard, which is we going to use as sand molding as the manufacturing process of the truck. So sand molding is using sand actually, which is we call clay and water. We combine it to make their die. So after that, we have put the die. We're going to put the mold. The mold actually we using aluminium. Okay. After that, we put the aluminium and we're going to heat it. So after that, the process complete. We have the truck. The truck is some important thing because the pressure that involved on the upward and downward, which is we need some strong part. So we're using aluminium as the one of the some of the part of truck. So after that, we're going to tell about wheel truck.
Yes, wheels and the more simple and easy part, but it's most important, the wheels. Important because we need wheels to move. So the wheels are originally by polyurethane. Polyurethane.
Yes.
That's make a liquid mold. So they make a die and make a shape of wheels, and we pour into the die, and finally we get a wheel. So the wheel, we as a player, we need to decorate it so it looks beautiful and maybe give a self-confidence when make a skill. We get a decorate or drawing some paint, so it's look more beautiful. Now with the manufacturing technology that we tell before, now we need to highlight and tell the simplified ones. So for the decks, first the Venus maple wood. We got the Venus to stick it together, cut into lengths, drill board, fillet edge, bend ends, and the pressure last, apply finish. So after that, wheels. Wheels, as I said before, polyurethane components. So color pigment for the decorate one, mixture pour into aluminium mold, wheel remove, and lastly wheel slab into cut by shape. So the bearing trucks.
The grip tape. So Joe,
Grip tape, grip tape, yes.
So I'm going to tell you about the flow path we manufacture the grip tape. So firstly, we're going to provide the base. Provide the base between the face of the grip tape. So after that, we coating the base. Coating the base, which means we put the friction part of the grip tape. After that, after we produce it, we make it stick together. So then we produce the grip tape. But that's not all. After that, we put the grip tape on the deck. So we're going to put it together to deck as one part. Then we're going to finalize the side. So we're going to actually the grip tape is we put on the deck is not the actual size. After we put the grip tape on the deck, so then we're going to cut and follow the shape of the deck. So after that, we're going to tell about the wheels, right?
The
Bearings.
So the bearing first was made from steel, right? So the first thing we will manufacture, we will shape, we will manufacture the ring, the inner ring and the outer ring before we produce the ball bearings. So normally we can the bearings contains 7 or 8 ball bearings at the one set of the full bearings. So then we go to the trucks. So the trucks, as Mr. Joe said, it is initially patterned by hand tool by the clay, or we call it sand molding. The aluminium ingot was heated and melted, and then the molten liquid of the aluminium then poured into the mold. And finally, the part was polished, grinded and drilled to the desired shape. And then after we finish the part of the deck, the wheels, the truck, the bearings, so we go into the final assemble. So first step is we take the bearing, we press the bearing into the wheels, and then the rod axle, so the part of the trucks, input the truck together with the bar, the bolt, nut, washer and the rubber, and then the truck we fit it with the wheels. So the skateboard we have 4 wheels, so the truck will fit with the 4 wheels, and then the truck finally is assembled, also made with the deck of the skateboard, and finally the skateboard is made. So the beautiful finished skateboard is completely manufactured.
What's about human resource? Safety maybe? Human resource.
Yes, human resource. For the human resource equipment, before we start the human resource equipment details, we want to know what is human resource. Human resource is referring to the division of company that focus on the activities of recruiting and the hiring of the employees. So, what are the requirements of the employees we want to make the skateboard manufacturing better and improve? So, first, we must hire a skill or enhance practical skill of the workers. So the product will be better and the production rates will be higher. And then the workers also must have the good consistency during the working hours and able to do the preferred task based on the instruction. And then for normal skateboard manufacturing, low to moderate skilled worker are needed. So there are no special requirements, but the high-end skateboard brands that needs good finish we must hire the highly skilled worker to make the skateboard. So for the normal or the small, what we call that, small factory of the skateboard, we need about 100 to 300 workers during the meantime. So they will be doing the measuring, the cutting, the melting of the raw materials before we go to the detailed process of each part. So the workers also must have a background of many kind of studies like management, engineering, and maintenance, so that they can do their maintenance preferably, and they can do their maintenance follow the instruction and the timetable. So there are summary where what we can conclude of this manufacturing process of the skateboard. So first, we need to consider of the improvements of the economy, the safety, and the environmental. For the performance, the deck. So nowadays for normal skateboard we use the wood as the deck. Maple wood. So in the future, we can use the composite materials and such as carbon fiber, graphite, and aluminium to make the product better and will last longer. And then for the environmental improvement, we can say that there are numerous considerations of the glue, the adhesive used for the grip tape. We can commonly regarded as the being environmentally hazardous. So we need to consider the adhesive used for the future. So we need to study the chemical compound to make the adhesive safety of the environment. And then we need to think about the recycling. Whether in case of during long time the skateboard will be damaged. So we need to recycle to make the product is more can be used again to make the same product with better better performance. So that's all. Thank you for those watching. Anything, Joe?
No, let's play skateboard.
Right. Thank you.